with that, we're just about set to go from the Bank of America Arena here in Seattle. We're right on the campus of the University of Washington. And this crowd, I'm telling you, on fire. Be incumbent upon California to quiet the crowd early in this game. Here's how they'll come to the dance. Leon Poe, we talked about him. Devon Harden is improving with just about every out. Omar Wilkes, good perimeter shooter. Richard Midgley, best backcourt defender. And Ayinde Ibaka, who has been in double figures the last 14 games for California. Ben Braun now in his 10th year at Cal. We mentioned he's won 7 of his last 8. The Bears playing very good basketball right now. For the Washington Huskies, it'll be Bobby Jones, Jamal Williams getting the start with Mike Jensen, Brandon Roy, and Justin Dentman. And Williams making his way back into the starting lineup. He hadn't started the last couple of games. Lo Romar saying goodbye today to his original recruiting class. This is his 4th year here, and here are some of the guys that were honored. Mike Jensen really was a recruit of Bob Bender, but he redshirted his freshman year. Bobby Jones, who really was the first recruit of Lorenzo Romar. Zane Potter, kind of a part-time player, but a 4-year member of this squad. And here is Brandon Roy, and this guy has just done everything. You know, we talk about student athlete, the complete package. That's Brandon Roy. And Jamal Williams, who transferred from New Mexico. Here are the seniors playing their last home game. Mike Jensen, Bobby Jones, Zane Potter, Jamal Williams, and Brandon Roy. And this guy is a special guy on the floor, off the floor, and I think his future is all out in front of him.
Yeah, I think Brandon's future is unlimited, and you know, he's certainly coming down the stretch. I mean, he has been sensational for the Huskies. He's really put him on his back, and looking forward to a big one here tonight, Barry. So, you know, what can you ask for? I mean, this is what it's all about. You've got 2 great teams. You've got a sold-out arena. The winner of this game, you know, doesn't assure them, obviously, they're going to win the Pac-10 championship, but I think it's going to go a long way. UCLA winning earlier leads the Pac-10 by a half game right now.
Dick Cartmel going to throw this one up again. Whiffed on the first one. And Harden controls it easily for Ibaka. Huskies want to push the ball up and down the floor. They're more comfortable playing it in the 80s. California will play that way, but given their druthers, I think they'd like to be in the mid-60s somewhere.
Well, you see California very deliberate. Here's the one thing you got to watch out for. What a steal and a play by Williams. How do you like it? How about that for a start?
California turns the ball over less than anybody in the Pac-10, just over 11 a game.
Well, and you see right away the Huskies look like they're going to pick up 92 feet. Put a little bit of pressure on California and make them play a little bit quicker than they would like.
This is Ibaka. Ibaka, in my opinion, the most improved player in the conference. Leon Poe taking all away. Pulled out, threw it up a little hard off the window. Dentman gets it out of there, the freshman, for the Huskies. Williams straightens up, in and out. Poe up over the top of the rebound. Thing about Leon Poe, strong hands, very good feet. Gets his hand on the ball on the block, generally speaking, best get out of his way.
And Mike Jensen's got the job of trying to limit Poe.
Jensen's a tough guy.
Yeah, he's a pretty good defender. And you know, and the other thing Poe does, if you look to double him, he will read the double team. Nice pass, beautifully done.
Sure was. And you always talk about the outside hand. And that's what Omar Wilkes did that time.
A great little read by Omar Wilkes. And, you know, when you give it to the big guy properly, when he is in stride, normally they'll finish.
There's Roy for 3. He misses his first shot. Williams up over the top, gets the offensive rebound. Dentman, little pump fake, got Midgley in the air and sticks it. Dentman, just a freshman, hit a wall about 3-4 games ago and has recouped.
Yeah, he's recouped nicely. He's done a beautiful job, and lately he's given the Huskies good leadership and scoring.
There's Ibaka over Roy, comes up short, one only. And Bobby Jones there with a rebound. These are also 2 very good defensive teams. Jensen coming off a 6 for 8 from 3-point range shooting night. Misses his first. And Ibaka lost the handle. There's Bobby Jones got a hand on it from behind. Ahead it goes to Jensen. Here's Roy down the lane. Back to Jensen. Offensive foul.
And who took the offensive foul? You know, a nice play by Leon Poe, and Poe does a great job to anticipate on Roy. Poe's going to move over and just try to establish. That could have gone either way too. A little bit of movement there, but the official gave the nod to Leon Poe and the charge on Roy. Got to come to that jump stop. Got to slow down in the open court and make sure you get a shot up when you're 2-on-1.
Huskies defense has been very disruptive early in this game. Williams trying to front Midgley, or in front Harden. Here's Poe. Little jumper, offensive foul on Leon Poe. Good for one, it's good for the other. And he did. He dropped the shoulder. Ben Braun to the three.
Well, and here's Jensen. If you're Jensen, you want to overplay that right side. There was a little bit of bump there. You know, normally a play like that, you know, many times the officials just going to let it go, but they felt a little bit too hard. Poe picks up his first foul. Look at him isolate Roy, and Roy will try to operate.
Bobby Jones. Jones, another one of those do-it-all guys. Williams travel.
I think Williams very emotional in this game. As you said earlier, he has not been starting. He's reacted well. He's been productive off the bench. And the first couple of times he's touched the ball, well, he got the great steal to initiate the game, and that resulted to a score. But then the long jumper and then the travel inside.
5 turnovers between these two teams. Denton got a hand on that shot by Omar Wilkes and knocked it out of bounds. Huskies really scrappy defensively here.
All right, they've been working on this out of bounds, and Washington in practice trying to defend Midgley because they feel the ball might come to Midgley on the out of bounds.
Here's Midgley up top, gets a good look, buries it. And Midgley's a streak shooter.
Well, you know, the amazing thing about it is Lorenzo Roma, I think, went over that play 15 times in practice.
That's right.
And, you know, it goes to show you, if you execute it right, you're going to get a good shot.
Here's Jensen with a good look, and he bangs it off the front iron. Midgley with a rebound, almost a steal by Bobby Jones. Is he tenacious?
Yeah, Bobby Jones is all over the floor. California's just working hard to get it down, see if they get a foul or a travel. It's like Williams maybe with a foul in the midcourt area.
A little careless foul on the part of Jamal Williams.
That's his first. Richard Midgley does a great job. And, okay, Midgley's going to go down. They're going to screen for him, and here he comes for the shot. So you see the screen. See him run the guy down. He does a great job to run him down and then pop back out, and he drills it. And I got to tell you, the Huskies, they tried to defend that as well as they could. They went over in practice, but still the Bears scored.
John Brockman is on for the first time. Talented freshman. He brings Ryan Appleby with him. Midgley misses that three. And Appleby's going to run the free throw down. Appleby himself, designated three-point shooter. Very quick release. Transfer from Florida.
Good help there by Harden. Boy, that is exactly how you play a little weak side defense. Good vision by Devon Harden.
There's Omar Wilkes, leaves it for Obaka, almost traveled. Now Wilkes again. Crowd wanted to travel not once, but twice. Neither team shooting it very well. Just a 5-4 ball game. They're going to reach in foul here on Wilkes. So we'll take a timeout with 15:34 remaining. The Bears lead it by a point. It's a 5-4 game. That's what started it. Williams on the dunk, and then Harden the other way off the feed from Omar Wilkes. Bears lead it by a point. We welcome you back. It's a 5-4 California lead. Neither team really able to shoot it. Tough defense, the story of the day. Thursday night, well, if this one's a crucial, so is Thursday night.
What's Thursday?
Well, Thursday we're going to be at Haas Pavilion for the UCLA Bruins and these same California Golden Bears. They started today in a flat-footed tie for first place. The Bruins have already won. California trying to do the same, and we're going to be with you 7:30 Thursday night from Berkeley. And there's a guy who played a little bit of basketball in the Pac-10.
Yeah, he sure did. Earl Watson just recently traded to the Seattle Supersonics. Of course, played point guard, little off guard at UCLA, and did a nice job. So there's Cameron Dollar, another ex-UCLA backcourt guy. A lot of UCLA guards around here.
Yeah, there are. A lot of UCLA guards all over the place.
Yeah, they're all over the place. A lot of Arizona guards all over the place.
Yeah, there are.
A few of those.
Most of them in the NBA.
Yeah, that's right.
Earl has really developed. Earl was a good college player, but has really, he's become a better player since he's been in the NBA. Always has been a hard worker and, of course, a great defender. Jensen open. This is it's his third miss. Brockman goes down hard trying to save that rebound. Brockman, another guy, you know, we've been talking about player of the year. At some point before this game's over, we should talk about freshman of the year, but Brockman's certainly one of them that you at least have to look at.
I don't think there's any question. I mean, Brockman, he's a guy that leads the conference in field goal percentage, and you have to think of Brockman and Marcus Williams at Arizona, Luke Richard-Umar-Butte at UCLA. And I like Jeff Pendergraft at Arizona State. I think he's come on strong. Ryan Francis, another excellent point guard at USC. A lot of good freshmen in the conference.
Yeah, there really are. It is a young conference. Little skip pass for Robertson. Midgley for three again. A little bit short. And Brockman with the rebound. Outlet to Appleby.
I got to tell you, Bill, I think both teams are a little bit tight. I mean, this is a big game. They both know. I mean, just doesn't seem like they're in rhythm yet. I mean, the defense is good, but both clubs have missed some open, so they didn't miss that one.
No, he didn't. It's a standing chance, not an easy shot.
Yeah, Brandon Roy said, well, that's enough of that. I heard that guy up there saying we're tight. We're not tight. We're knocking this one down.
Well, he's not tight. I can tell you that. Ibaka the other way. Misses. And Brockman with another rebound.
Well, he is a great rebounder, John Brockman. I mean, he just, beautiful position, goes up and snatches it.
Roy kind of directed traffic here with his head. Try to leave it for Brockman. Again, a good job by Harden to step in front. Here's Leon Poe. Poe going against Jensen. Finger roll misses. Poe gets it back and the putback.
How many guys can do that at Leon Poe's side? He surprises you with his ball skills. And the other thing that you like about that play, he was under control, and that allowed him to come back and get that rebound and finish it.
Brockman again brings Harden out on him. Appleby, as we said, great three-point shooter. Gets into the lane. Brockman's open. Didn't get it. There's Bobby Jones. Jones got underneath. Great job again by Harden. Harden does all those little things. And we were talking about this before the game, but hey, why not tell the folks? I think he's going to be a heck of a player.
Yeah, that's right. Well, let's not tell you. We think he's got a great upside in Devon Harden. Here's the other thing about Devon. Very bright guy. Leon Poe is taking him under his wing. But the fact of the matter is, he's getting better with each game. And here's what he's doing. He's negating anything easy inside, blocks it, gets his own rebound. And the other, you know, he listens. He's coachable. He's a young guy that just wants to get it all that you're giving him. And he's given the Bears quite a finish to this year.
Well, we've been talking about Brandon Roy. He was the Pac-10 Player of the Week 2 weeks ago. Guess what? He was the Pac-10 Player of the Week last week, too, and with good reason. This guy is coming up big when it really counts. It's not necessarily unimportant what you do in December and January, but it's really important what you do down the stretch in February and into March. And Brandon Roy, 2 weeks in a row, our U.S. Bank Pac-10 Conference Player of the Week. Averaged almost 23 points the past 8 games.
Yeah, and coincidentally, Barry, it's no wonder that Washington's playing its best basketball late in the year and led by Roy. So, you know, congratulations, U.S. Bank Player of the Week, back to back.
Neither team shooting the ball very well today, though, which does speak to your tight comment.
Yeah, California 3 of 10 and the Huskies 3 of 11. Both clubs only 1 of 5 from long distance. So, you know, obviously that has to improve. See if Harden can make that shot. Almost got it in but charged and doesn't like the call, but he keeps his composure. He'll just go down the other end and get ready.
First foul on Devon Harden. And look at Roy step in front.
Well, so far in this game, we've seen that the premier players, Leon Poe take a charge and Brandon Roy take one. So what does that tell you? You know, you got to play some defense as well as being a good offensive player. Everybody has to give themselves up for the good of the team.
A lot of very unselfish players. This time they're going to get Williams away from the ball on moving screen. Second foul on Williams. But I think that's what we have here, really. These two very unselfish teams. Yeah, they each have a star, but the stars are very unselfish. Andu Ibaka has been very quiet with Roy up on his pocket now. Oliver Poe out away from the basket. They've been doing that more, letting him put it on the floor.
Nice defense, though. Great job by the Huskies.
Now Midgley, he had a good look. He passed it up. Theo Robertson drives baseline. Pull up. There's the shot. Roy the rebound.
This is where he's dangerous. You got to stop him here because he's normally got to go. Well, he did it again. He finds the open guy. Great shot. They just couldn't get it down.
Yeah, sure was. Terrific look by Roy. Well, you know, you talked about what Brandon Roy does, and he is amongst the statistical leaders. They show stats in 13 different categories in the Pac-10, and I think generally in the NCAA. And Roy is listed amongst the leaders in 10 of them. And the one that he's not
is minutes played. Yeah. So tells you he's doing a lot, and not playing all the minutes. Well, this is a critical juncture here for the Huskies. I mean, they got Bobby Jones and Roy out of the game right now, so it may be an opportunity for California.
Here's Joel Smith. He's not shy. A little short. Benson with the rebound for California. Benson in the game for the first time. Here's Poe ahead of everybody. That was a tough catch and an even tougher shot.
Well, that was a great transition, though. I mean, what a pass by Midgley and Leon Poe running the break. Well done by the Bears. You don't see him get too many open court scores, but that was a big one.
This is Denton. Now Williams. Benson on him. Tough cover for Benson. Williams turnaround won't go. Poe the rebound. So both teams continue to struggle from the field.
It's hard to fault Williams. He's had two great shots. I think if you're Jamal Williams, the worst thing he can do is stop shooting. I mean, if you get those kind of shots, eventually they're going to go down.
Nice pass by Ubaka. No finish, though, by Theo Robertson. And we got a foul on Rob Benson. And a timeout with 11:09 remaining to be played. And it's been a heavyweight fight so far. Each team throwing its best shots, and not a lot of shots landing. We're coming back. Well, the Bears lead it by 2 with 11:09 remaining in the first half. Both teams continue to struggle from the field right now. Washington is 3 of 13, 23%. Cal not much better, 4 of 14. They're shooting 28%. We were talking about Pac-10 Players of the Year and talking about the fact that they're the two front runners are in this game. There have been a few from California, some pretty good players.
Yeah, pretty good. Jason Kidd, Sharif, and of course Sharif, you got to remember, only played 1 year. You know, so we've got Leon Poe and we've got Brandon Roy, and you know, two guys here. Sure, it's going to be one of these two before it's all said and done. I mean, there's some fine players in the league. Certainly, Flowers had a great year for UCLA, and so Jordan Farmar. But when it comes down to it, I think it's either going to be Leon Poe or Brandon Roy.
And I think you can make a strong case for either one of them.
And a co-player of the year wouldn't bother me a whole lot either.
Only happened one other time. There's Williams knocking it down.
It happened in '95, and it was Damon Stoudemire and Ed O'Bannon. And in my recollection that year, I think Ed O'Bannon was National Player of the Year, to my recollection.
Ubaka behind the screen. He missed the shot. Poe fights for the rebound. Can't handle it. It's out of bounds to the Huskies. Tied at 9 with 10:29 remaining here in the first half. The tempo actually is more to the liking of California than it is of Washington right at the moment, but it's a tie game. This is Joel Smith. Now Appleby. Appleby, as you said, good three-point shooter, but Midgley comes right up on it. Now they got to switch here.
Yeah, it's right down here. That's your mismatch. If you can put the ball down low, and Appleby gets a wide open shot, nicely done.
As I said, a three-point shooter. Appleby with a very quick release. And the interesting thing about Ryan Appleby, he came here, transferred from Florida, where he was a point guard. But then Denton, the other freshman, came up so big, they said to Appleby, look, you're a good shooter, go play the 2, and that's where he's been all year. Pretty good pass again from Theo Robertson, but Midgley couldn't hang on to it. It's a turnover.
Yeah, Appleby is a guy that gets wide open. We see him right here, and we're going to get a little dribble, then pitch to Appleby, and then he's going to go ahead and drop it in. So he's the guy you definitely want to find in the open court. And I think what happened, the whole thing occurred on that mismatch. When Brockman had the little guy and they reacted well, and Appleby got wide open. Now you got to look out because he's looking for a shot.
Now Midgley right up on him. Midgley, a very tough defender, probably the Bears' best. Williams, and he could do that all night long. He is very tough right alongside the paint.
And Barry, I'm really happy to see him continuing to shoot. He's had a little tough start, but he is a guy that's had great shots. The ball just hasn't gone in for him. Look at the defense. Keep the ball in front, move your feet, get aggressive with your hands.
Huskies on a 7-0 run now. And they lead it by 5. 9 on the shot clock. Ubaka to Benson, got to do something. Benson puts it on the floor, takes it all the way, missed the shot. Here's Poe with a putback and a foul.
It's great to have Leon Poe rebounding when Benson is shooting, because Leon Poe's man went to help on Benson. So Leon Poe saying, well, wait a minute, yeah, Benson drew the defense, everybody going to try to defend him, and Poe taps it to himself, and he's all alone underneath to finalize.
Another foul on Justin Dentman, and I must tell you, that's a mismatch, Justin Dentman and Leon Poe. Justin, nice player, but gives away about a foot to Leon Poe and about 100 pounds. Poe now 7 points and 5 rebounds. So he's doing his part. 2-point game. Defense has really been the order of this game. I can't say that's a big surprise. There's Williams up top. Going to take it. Didn't quite get it. The rebound to Poe. That's his 6th. Here's Nikola Knežević in the ball game for the first time now.
Yeah, big spot for Nikola Knežević. He's in the game and hoping to direct his team and make some good decisions. And Ubaka has gotten off he thought he got fouled on that shot. Look at the official.
I think Dentman got a hand on either Ubaka or the ball, and there's a foul on Theo Robertson. And they're going to get Williams, I think, on it, perhaps on a tee. I don't know. He pushed Robertson into the crowd, and I don't know if they're going to call him for that or not.
Well, on the transition, here's the pass to Williams. Williams is going to take it in. They call a foul there. Now, after the play, yeah, a little bit of a bump. I mean, on that replay, there was a little bit of a bump. He hit him with his left hand, and that's what the official doesn't like to call, but that's what the official saw. So they're going to get a technical foul.
And Andy Ubaka will go to the other end. It's a tough time for a technical foul. And it's the 3rd personal foul on Williams. So it's even more costly than just the fact that Ubaka is going to convert a point here, and maybe 2.
It's double jeopardy on that technical. It's another team foul, and it's a personal foul.
So Lorenzo Romar likely is going to have to get him out. Take a look here, and what do you think? Was there contact here?
All right, Theo Robertson defended him. There was contact. That's a little further than that right there. There's, you know, that was not severe by any stretch of the imagination. You know, that's kind of that's a tough tee.
So Williams now will get the free throw that caused that whole thing in the first place. He'll have 2 shots. Substitutions for the Bears now as Harden and Omar Wilkes come back.
There's Devon Harden trying to get pretty good position inside. On the technical, Barry, you shoot the tee, then you go back on the foot. You go to the point of interruption. You don't give California the ball. The rule is now you go back to where you were when the tee occurred.
Brandon Roy to Denman for 3. And oh, by the way, a heck of a rebound off that missed free throw by Brandon Roy. Knežević leaves it this time for Omar Wilkes. Now Harden. Harden taking it to the basket, put up a brick, and there's Benson underneath. He can't get it, tries it again, and gets it.
Great job by Benson. You know, we've talked about Rod Benson over and over, but it's worth repeating. You know, his attitude is tremendous. He's a starter, led the Bears in rebounding last year and scoring, and now he is being more productive as the year goes on and having a nice game here tonight.
There's Brockman. Harden working on him. Brockman turns, drives baseline, puts it up and in. Nice effort.
I know Ben Braun's getting a little nervous with Leon Poe sitting next to him.
Exactly.
What are you doing here? He's probably looking at him saying, They're going to get you back in the game.
And they got it down to Harden. And Harden missed that shot. And again, there's Benson with a follow.
Well, you got two guys inside that are 6'10", 6'11". Benson and Harden playing a little volleyball, and you see those second chance points. That's huge. 12-5 for the Bears.
The drive by Williams, and it's interestingly, I think, Romar is letting Williams go with 3 fouls. Benson's second foul will put Williams at the line when we come back. 6 minutes, 34 seconds remaining here in the first half. The game has been as advertised, hard-nosed, and the Dogs lead by 2. Welcome back, Huskies by 2, 6 minutes, 34 seconds remaining here in the first half. And Chris Myers is coming back to FSN, the most intriguing and controversial names in sport. I'll talk with Chris in a series of half-hour specials. This week, Chris going to talk with Mavericks owner Mark Cuban, CMI. The Chris Myers interview tonight at 10:30, only on FSN. Let's take a moment to recognize our Chevy student of the game, and there he is right there, Alex Pribble. He's right close to a 4-point student. He was a walk-on here at Cal, got a scholarship this year, went to Drake High School in Marin County, just across the bay from Berkeley, and has been a productive player as well. And Ben Braun has had a history of doing well with walk-ons.
Yeah, he really has. And you know, Martin Smith, a walk-on when he first started here at California. Another guy, Martin's been hurt, hasn't contributed much this year. And remember Ryan Forehand Kelly, another guy that was a walk-on, and he was a very productive player. And Alex Pribble, he's played in some significant games and really had a nice year for California. So that's great to see for a lot of young people watching. If you want to try out for a team, there's always those opportunities. And of course, Alex Pribble, a great student and a guy that's you know, he has an opportunity to possibly be on a Pac-10 championship team. If he does, he'll be the first one in California since 1960. Yeah, when Pete Newell was coaching.
Knežević outside now. Knežević worked on by the freshman Dentman. Now back up to Ibaka. He's been very quiet tonight. Indy, remember, on a streak of 14 straight double-digit scoring games.
I thought backcourt production was the biggest key for California in this game. Midgley made a long three, but they've defended him well. Shot clock now at 3.
And Ibaka misses a shot. Harden snatches down a tough rebound. Tried the putback, it won't go, and Brandon Roy gets it out of there. Bears getting a lot of offensive boards there. So far, Huskies don't have an answer for that. Now Brandon Roy going to back things out, direct a little traffic. Denton, Roy, Brockman, Jensen, and Jones now for Washington. There's Roy and block foul. This time they're going to get Leon Post.
They're going to count that. They're going to count the basket. Well, here's Brandon Roy. You know, he's very explosive, and Poe tried to establish position. I got to tell you, I think that's before the shot. I don't see that continue. I mean, that's like a continuation right there. I thought he made a little bit of contact, and if you're going to call out a block, that's fine. I just think, you know, there's no continuation on that play.
Poe has picked up his second personal foul, and he'll come to the bench. And Roy converts a three-point play, and it's a 7-point Washington lead. Guarded by Roy, now Knežević. Benson up high. Bears using a lot of the clock here. They're not getting great shots.
And Roy did a great job on Midgley, not letting him get open. Now Midgley leaves him. Midgley gets a great look and drops it in. Yeah. You cannot leave him. He's your go-to player on the floor for California with this lineup in the game.
Yeah, right now he is. Really, Wilkes and Midgley, the only two shooters that are out there for California. Knežević, kind of a slasher. And a foul away from the ball. We got Midgley, I think. It is against Midgley.
Now see, here's Midgley. He gets wide open, and that time just, you know, kind of a loss of concentration. They've done a great job on Midgley, and he just kept moving without the ball. They found him, and, you know, Richard Midgley delivered in the clutch.
So Bobby Jones will go to the free throw line. Now, Jones is another one of those guys. The things that he does as you look at his line this season don't always show up in the stats. Missed front end of a 1-and-1. Benson with the rebound for California. Half the measure, but it's getting a lot of minutes here.
Got to stay on Midget. If you're Brandon Roy, you cannot leave Richard Midget. Force someone else to shoot the ball in this situation. Well, they had Harden wide open.
Still got it to him. A great job by Brockman. Tremendous job by Brockman. Just swatted it away on the way up.
I don't think Brockman hustles him.
Yeah,
I mean, amazing. I mean, he blocks it. Look at him kind of dive on the floor after the block. He gets a piece of it, and watch John Brockman go after the ball. I mean, talk about, I think he was trying to call a timeout. I think he was trying to turn it. Say, of course, he didn't have possession of the ball.
That's exactly what Lorenzo Romar was telling us about him before we ever saw him play.
That is a great pass. They didn't get it down, but you got to give Devon Harden a pat on the back there. He made the right play and the best read he could.
There's Roy working on Wilkes. Now Jensen. Roy posting Wilkes up. Bobby Jones for three. And the lead is back to 7. This is Harden driving baseline. Offense.
Well, we know Devon Harden is he's a work in progress. He's getting more active, but he's got to slow down a little bit going all the way to the goal. People will stand in his way. Terrific defense again by the Huskies.
Harden now with 2 fouls. Bobby Jones made a 3 to give his team a 7-point lead. Huskies lead it by 7, 3:35 left first half. Still hopes of a conference championship here in Seattle. It hasn't happened for them since '85. California since 1960. Marv Harshman was the coach. 2 pretty good players led that team.
Two tremendous players in Detlef Tripp and Christian Belp. And Christian, the all-time leading scorer. But you know what a fantastic all-around player was Detlef Shrimp, and of course Marv Harshman. We can say about Marv. I mean, there's Marv right there. I'm just you know, one of the great coaches that we've had in college basketball. It's nice to see him here, and you know, he looks good. And you know, Marv Harshman just did a great job here for the Huskies.
He does look good, and I think he's now into his 90s.
And unbelievable.
He's a young 90. There's a guy who was on that team.
Yeah, Paul Fortier. Yeah, Paul Fortier, St. Ignatius High School in San Francisco, and of course Paul Fortier played overseas for quite a while. And Paul now an assistant coach and was a member of that championship team back in '85. And
let me see, who are the other great players that come out of St. Ignatius? You!
They've got a lot of great players.
They still remember you at St. Ignatius. As a biology teacher, I think is how they remember you. Here's Roy wide open, couldn't get it. Midgley the rebound.
This is a small California team on the floor now. Remember, all the bigs for California. Harden's got 2, Poe has 2, Benson, all the 2 fouls. See if Benson can...
got too far underneath. A good job by Jensen that time. Just kind of bodied him up and got Benson so far under the basket he couldn't come back with a shot. And Leon Poe with the 2 fouls, serving some time on the pine.
Yeah, I think if you're... At this point, if you're Ben Braun, you're trying to get out of Dodge here at halftime just to limit, you know, this deficit. If he can keep it to 6-7, I think he'd be happy. He's got a very small team on the floor. They're going zone right now. They went zone the last time. Jensen's nice defense there by Ibaka. So that's 2 productive defensive trips by California in the zone.
Washington's going to get Ryan Appleby in the game. As soon as they see zone, Appleby's off the bench. Theo Robertson. Now Omar Wilkes is open. And we're going to get a foul, and that's going to be 3 shots for Omar Wilkes. There was a time earlier that Omar Wilkes was leading the conference in 3-point shooting. He's dropped off a little bit lately, but very good perimeter shooter. Second foul on Detman. Coming up on the Acura halftime show, we're going to take you to the studio. They'll have all the scores and highlights from all around the country. We're going to honor Steve Hawes, who played his basketball here at Washington, and soon to be another Hawes at the University of Washington. We'll tell you about that also. His son, who is highly touted, and that's probably an understatement.
Well, Washington's had a great recruiting class. I mean, one thing about Lorenzo Romar, he's really got it going up here now. I mean, and they're keeping the homegrown talent here in Seattle, right here at UW, and that's gone a long way. And so the program, this was known really basically as a football school, Barry, years ago, and Lorenzo Romar has certainly changed that in a hurry. He's doing a beautiful job coaching and recruiting.
Well, and this building has changed a whole lot too. You and I can remember coming in here when it was still Heck Edmondson Pavilion. Here's what they've done under Low Romar. I mean, truly remarkable.
Improvement every year, and of course, you know, you referred to Spencer Hawes, who will be here in another year at 6'11 and a half, and you know, touted as one of the maybe one of the top 2 or 3 big guys in the country.
And there's Brandon Roy. He'll go to the free throw line. Going to get the foul on Alex Pribble. Yeah, we started to say you and I have done a ton of games when this was Heck Ed, and quite honestly, it was just this big old kind of cavernous place. And what they've done was they shut off one end of it. And in fact, there's a practice court behind it now, made it a lot more intimate. It still seats about 12,000 people, but all of a sudden, it's like the place to be in Seattle.
And a tough ticket. And that's because of you know, what Lorenzo Romar and his staff and all of these players have done. You know, so you talk about all the seniors. And they've really accomplished quite a bit.
42-5 in the last 3 years here. So visiting teams don't much like to come here. Harden's going to come back into the lineup for California with the 2 fouls, just under 2 minutes remaining in the half. Brandon Roy just doing what Brandon Roy does. His team leads by 6. Andy Ubaka back in the California lineup as well. He spent a lot of time on the bench, more than usual. And his pass down to Harden. He'll kick it out for Midget.
Well, they're doubling up the ball. I mean, if you can read it and get your spacing, great steal again.
Sure was. Caused by that trap. They get it to Roy. He scores. No! Offensive foul.
A little surprised that time that Brandon Roy leaned in. If it's on Roy, which it is, it's at second. Roy could have gone straight up, but he did go toward the goal. And another good play defensively to step right in there and draw that show. Theo Robertson does a nice job. It's the only play he had, and he got the call.
So it remains a 6-point game, 125 remaining here in the first half.
Now California has to be alert. Last time the Huskies went trap, they had 2 on the ball. They're doing it again.
They drop it down to Harden, and Harden wasn't quite sure whether it's just a finger roll that or to jam it. He kind of went between, but it went in.
And a great job to read the trap. That time you get your spacing correctly, you make the right pass, and California made a pay and a good job to get it inside.
Now they got a mismatch. Now they get it straightened out. Appleby, Harden jumping at him, knocks another one down. He is a 3-point shooter.
And Appleby's got it going here tonight. He's made a couple.
Bears trying to answer. That's Robertson going all the way to the basket. He can't get it. Brockman gets it out of there for the Dogs. 32 left. They can back it out. Wait for the final shot here. Jones drives baseline and was on the baseline.
And Lorenzo Romar is trying to say, hold it for the last shot. He just couldn't get their attention. And here's Appleby. They do find him. That's a deep 3, but he's got unlimited range. And he gets another one down. And an unfortunate trip that time for the Huskies. They had an opportunity to go up 7, 9, or 10 with the ball at the end. Now giving California another shot out of here.
So now the Bears will play for the last shot. 14-13 remaining in the half.
Big momentum possession right here for the Bears.
It really is. Still plenty of time. Ubaka kick it out to Robertson. Good look for 3. Got it.
Well, what a great sequence that time for California. That is huge for the Bears. They negate the score at one end, come right back, and Theo Robertson, a nice job. Under duress, the freshman, he takes it. There's another good freshman. I mean, we've talked about freshmen. How about the play and get it to Robertson? He's come up big for California all year.
Yeah, he really has. And as the season's gone on, he's got a lot better. That's what freshmen are supposed to do. And we come to the end of the first half. And here in Seattle, it's the Washington Huskies 33 and the California Golden Bears 29 in a game that has been absolutely as advertised thus far. Tough defensive game. Stick around for the Acura halftime show. It's coming up after this short timeout. We welcome you back, and we are just about set to go to the second half. Huskies lead it by 4. Let's take a look at really what this game means. UCLA, they've already won today. They defeated Oregon, so right now they got a half game on California and a game and a half on the Washington Huskies. And the Huskies, of course, they could be the masters of their own fate, but so too can California. The Bears, remember, play the Bruins in Berkeley right here on FSN this coming Thursday night. Huskies have to travel down and play the Arizona.
Of course, the Bruins are, you know, they've got the Pac-10 championship in their own hands also.
That's
they
true.
come up to the Bay Area, which is not going to be easy to win at Cal and at Stanford.
Brandon Roy couldn't get it. The rebound down to, guess who? Leon Pope.
Well, I think that last score of the half, when Washington really didn't hold the ball for the last shot and the Bears were able to get the turnover, come back, and Theo Robertson hits a 3 instead of an 8 or 9 point deficit. You know, now California only down 4 and with the ball.
Wilkes leaves for Poe, and Poe scores it and 1. That's what we were saying earlier. He is so strong when he gets his hands on the ball. Get out of the way.
Yeah, and the thing is, I thought a great pass, and we're going to get it on the baseline. Okay, he's going to drive in here and watch the help, and look at Poe when he. Now here's what you're talking about. He was hammered pretty good right there, and it didn't bother Leon Poe. He was still able to get it up and in through defenders. Just a huge play by Poe. Remember, 2 fouls in the first half, sat for quite a while, could get that free throw down, but gets a big score here to start the second half.
They're going to get Midgley on a foul on the rebound. Midgley thought the foul might have been on Jensen. Midgley's second personal foul. So a 2-point ball game now, and this game is still very much there for the taking. Denton for 3. He misses. Long rebound to Omar Wilkes. Bears got numbers if they push here. Wilkes in the middle. Wilkes will take it end to end. Missed with the left hand. And it's going to be out of bounds to California. Both officials really were kind of unsighted.
Well, I think at least they waited to try to make the right call.
That's right.
It did look like it went off a Washington player, not a bounds, will go to the Bears. And don't forget, they love to feature Midgley on the out-of-bounds plays. They scored. Now, that was better defended than it was the first half. Remember, Midgley had a wide-open shot.
There's Indi Ibaka, who's very quiet in the first half. Of course, he's got Brandon Roy on him, and that's not an easy cover.
And don't forget, Jamal Williams has 3 fouls.
Ibaka leaves for Omar Wilkes, open
Wide
for
open.
3, missed it.
But Barry, you can't get more open than that. I mean, and as you said earlier, you got to knock down those open shots. Omar Wilkes was on a string earlier in the year, leading the conference in threes, but lately he has not been able to get the long one to go down.
Oh, he was up around 52%. There's a loose pass from Williams, intended for Roy. Goes out of bounds off of Roy to California. Bachman going to come back into the game and bring Appleby with him. Denton and Williams will leave. Denton just a freshman, and Lorenzo Romar gives him a couple of attaboys and a little bit of advice as well as he comes off.
Well, that's the value of Brandon Roy. You take your point guard. So who's going to play the point with this group on the floor? Well, it's going to be Brandon Roy. He's going to bring the ball down the floor. He and Appleby are going to have to make do out there without Denton in the game.
They just missed Midgley. Here's Harden. Harden draws a crowd. Wilkes penetrate, lead for Harden. Harden off balance that time. And it's going to be out of bounds off Brockman, California ball. No, they're going to say that it's Washington ball. I guess maybe Brockman didn't touch it until it was already out of bounds.
Yeah, I thought Harden hit the ball out of bounds. Got to be alert. California's got to turn around. And the ball was in play and almost an open opportunity jumper that time for the Huskies.
Here's Appleby. You got to jump out at him off balance. Appleby still gets it.
Is he unbelievable?
He's got that quick release.
Man, I mean, you know, you think of Appleby as only a standstill perimeter shooter, and he made a tough shot there, and I thought it was well defended.
Midgley penetration, kick out Ibaka. Appleby jumps out at him. Now Wilkes is open again. This time he gets it for 3.
Shooters keep shooting.
Yeah, you got it.
Here's the deal. If you miss a few, don't worry about it. Omar Wilkes saying, look, I'm open, I'm letting it go.
Got to do that. 1-point ball game. Jensen up top. He can shoot it too. Nice pass to Roy, cutting to the basket. Drew the foul and one. Big time
execution. There's the back door to the goal. Just a nice job that time. And here it is. You cut all the way to the goal. You get the overplay, and you get that back door cut all the way to the basket. Beautifully done. A great read by Jensen, and Roy playing without the ball. But credit Mike Jensen for that play. A perfect pass.
And a third foul on Devon Harden, so he's going to have to come out. Rod Benson replaces him. Roy converts the three-point play, and it's a 4-point Huskies lead. And a little full-court pressure shown by Washington as well. Here's Ibaka with Roy on him, switches hands, goes baseline. Wilkes was open, passed it up. Midgley is open and gets it.
Backcourt production. Richard Midgley. We knew either Midgley or Ibaka had to have a huge game for California. And Richard Midgley, as he answered the bell.
He's got 9 in the ballgame on 3 threes. Here's Roy again, tried to pass it down that time for Jensen. Somebody got a hand on it.
Well, it looked like Wilkes was open at the other end, but you know, California's not that kind. They don't want to play it up and down. They want to control it, get good half-court possessions.
The tempo has been California's, and that time Wilkes threw it away. Huskies are much more comfortable playing high 80s or 90s. There's a turnover story, comparable.
It's been a big story for California this year. They've taken care of the ball. They've had quite a few. I remember doing one game, I think they only had 4 turnovers in a game.
Yeah, they've been in single digits, I think, 4 times this year.
Yeah, and that's that's remarkable.
Jensen for 3. Made 6 of them the other night. Why not?
Boy, Appleby's doing it all. And that time, penetrate, give it up, and Jensen had a great look at it.
Huskies continue to lead by 4.
I think Appleby stays on the floor. I mean, the way he's going.
And again, the Bears throw it away. Midgley skip pass intended for Ibaka, and it was a little too much. A little too much on that pass. It went off the hands of Ibaka and out of bounds. How about Appleby, the lead for Jensen? And the finish, and the Huskies lead it by 4. We're coming back. Don't go anywhere. Dogs by 4, but she doesn't care. You know what she does care about, though, and that's it next week on the ACC Sunday Night Hoops. It's going to be Maryland and Virginia as the Terrapins take on the Cavaliers. Coverage beginning next Sunday at 3 o'clock Eastern, noon Pacific out here on FSN. Virginia, of course, 7 up, 7 down, and Maryland lost today. That makes them 6 and 8 in the ACC season. Here is the top 10 coming into today's play, and the Dukies, of course, still 27 up and 1 down. Connecticut today beat Villanova, so they're likely to flop. Memphis playing great. The Zags playing great. How about GW?
Yeah, GW, they're having a great year. Carl Hobbs done a great job. They've won a ton of games in a row. Most talented team in the country, though, is UConn. They're going to be my pick, Barry. They're going to be my pick to go all the way. I guess the Kansas Jayhawks went into a tornado.
He did
today at playing Texas.
There's Brockman in and out. Poe with a rebound, and he's tied up by Brandon Roy. Now, there's your 2 choices as Conference Player of the Year right there. Possession arrow is going to be Cal. And they're both playing up to their billing, too.
Yeah, they really are. And, just a terrific competitive game. Long way to go in this one. Watch Poe handle it. He's deceptive in the open court. Does a great job to control the ball.
Now they're going to back it up top, start the offense over.
Yeah, they're really, this is the way California wants it. And the reason for it, they want Leon Poe to be involved. So they want to make sure he gets a touch when they run their half-court offense.
Ridgely had a pretty good look, takes it all the way to the basket, draws a foul. These 2 teams both very physical teams. Which actually, and I certainly believe they'll both be in postseason play, that will serve them well being physical. Ibaka's been very quiet. Of course, the reason for that, I think, is Brandon Roy.
Well, and both of these teams, in my opinion, very underrated defensive teams. They've won a lot of games. Sometimes you look at their offense, but both of these clubs do a great job to keep the ball in front. Rarely do you get second and third efforts on them. So you look at Brandon Roy, his job today was to try to shut down Ayinde Ibaka. who's been in double figures for, quite a few games. I think Endo Ibaka's been in double figures 14 consecutive games. Only has 2 points in this one.
He's 0 for 5 from the field, too. The only 2 points he's had were shooting the technical foul. Here's Brandon Roy driving and go right by Omar Williams. He's got 13. Oh, by the way.
Yeah, explosive. Stars will take the game over at the end, and it might get an offensive foul here.
I think they will. Maybe against Midgley. If it is, it's his third. It is against Midgley. That's going to be his third foul.
Well, here you get a great look at Brandon Roy. And again, I thought a good screen there by Brockman. Did a good job to keep his man out. And you beat your man all the way to the goal. And see if they get a technical or they're going to get a push. Another foul. Quick foul on Midgley. If it is it's fourth.
And it is, and he goes immediately to the bench. So now the Bears, with Harden on the bench with 3 fouls, Midgley, who is their leading scorer, on the bench with 10 points. And there's a long way to go. Of course, 14 minutes and change. 2 quick ones. Appleby working on Knežević. Knežević will likely go a long way here. Cole went for the steal. Jensen shakes him, trying to get it down to Brockman, and threw it away.
I think Leon Poe does bother you with his defense. He's much quicker than you think he is. Almost had that steal, very disruptive. And back going full court, the little man-to-man pressure to the Huskies.
Robertson back in the ballgame now for California. So for the Bears, Ibaka, Knežević, Benson, Poe, and Robertson. Grab on Brockman. Non-shooting. And the Bears are going to have to go a ways, I believe, without their leading scorer. And there he is, Richard Midgley, and he's got no choice with the 4 fouls. He's going to have to sit, what would you say, for 7 or 8 minutes?
Yeah, it probably said unless the Huskies make a little run, and then if you're Ben Braun, you're going to say, throw caution to the wind, I'm going to get him back in the game. But you'd like to sit him for about 7. Hey, see if they get a foul or a charge, and maybe a charge first.
It is on Ibaka. And again, Brandon Roy with the help from behind. Brandon Roy doing it all.
Yeah, he is, but we'll watch Ryan Appleby just step in the middle there. There may have been a foul call after Ibaka ran Appleby down, but Appleby, he's done a beautiful job at both ends of the court.
Yes, he has. Cal now with 5 team fouls in the second half, and this time we're going to get an offensive foul the other way.
You don't want to get a technical here. You're going to get Mike Jensen with a moving screen. And you called it at one end, they're going to call it at the other end. And see if you get Jensen, who's, he might have bumped his shoulder a little bit, and that's where he got the foul. 4th team on Washington.
Knežević going to shoot the 3. It won't go. That's not a shot the Bears would like to have. And Poe and Jensen, really a lot of contact under the basket, and that's what the crowd is getting all excited about. Brockman the other way, and he backs down and picks up a foul. It is getting very physical out there.
Got to have a tight whistle.
I was just going to say.
You have to have a tight whistle in this one. And I'll tell you one thing you can't do in this game is just lower your shoulder or back a guy down. Everybody's going for the charge, and they're getting the call. They're calling it at both ends of the floor. Look at Jensen inside and Leon Poe, very physical in there. These guys are just grabbing each other and throwing them out of the way.
But your point is well taken. That's going to cause a quick whistle now, and there are already some guys who are in foul trouble. You don't want to see this game decided by people who aren't there. You want to see it decided by people who are on the floor.
Well, now Denton on Ibaka. So this may be an opportunity for into Ibaka. He's got Brandon Roy and Knežević. See if Ibaka gets a little more proactive.
Gets it over to Knežević. Now back to Ibaka. Ibaka going to drive on Denton, pulls up, scores. Good call, Coach.
Well, I'm sure he's got a guy now. Not that Denton's not a good defender, but he could shoot over. You can't shoot over Brandon Roy.
This time Poe cuts Roy off as he starts to drive baseline. Now back up top, the freshman Denton. It is physical. Roy to the basket. And they're going to let's see who they do get. I don't know if it's Benson or Robertson.
And Barry at the other end, you see Ende Ibaka. to my recollection, maybe his first field goal of the game. He's got some free throws, but he's been in double figures 14 games in a row, and certainly he has to get going if he's going to keep that streak alive.
They call a foul on Robertson. It's his second non-shooting, but the 16th foul against the Bears.
That's okay, Denton. He almost touched it in the front court and went in the back court. He had the presence of mind and let it go in the back court. See if California goes zone. Appearing zone, and they are in the zone. Got to react now if you're the Huskies.
Joel Smith, very good three-point shooter. Of course, so is Brandon Roy. Here's Smith. Look out here. Now Roy.
And so is Appleby, but he's not in the game. Might not be a bad time. Maybe a good time to go zone.
Brandon Roy to the basket, hammered from behind. And they're going to get Benson on this foul. That's going to be his third foul. And so now Harden with 3 fouls, Benson with 3 fouls, Midgley on the bench with 4 fouls. The Bears are hurting and in some foul trouble and down by 3. A 3-point Washington lead here in Seattle with 11:42 remaining to be played. Thursday night, another great game in the Pac-10 Conference will be down at Haas Pavilion in Berkeley, and it'll be the UCLA Bruins who right at the moment have undisputed possession of first place in the conference. Bears trying to tie them up with a win here today, but huge game in Berkeley, 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. Who gets in from the Pac-10 Conference? Well, I think UCLA, I think Washington, I think Cal, but honestly, I think Arizona.
And I think Arizona. I think right now Stanford on the cusp. Certainly USC would have to do something dramatic, but they've had some outstanding wins. You beat North Carolina and beat Arizona, beat UCLA. I mean, they got 3 great ones on their resume, but they finish in a tough place at Cal at Stanford. So I think 4 right now is the way I look at it, unless Stanford, does some serious business here at the end of the year and does well in the Pac-10 tournament.
Oh, by the way, one comment about USC. I think the job Tim Floyd has done there, truly remarkable. I mean, honestly, that's a team that nobody thought would win 17 games, and they got a chance to win a couple more.
And I'll tell you what's scary if you're playing USC. I mean, Nick Young just had a huge game against Oregon State, but to get Gabe Pruitt back, he should be back this week. So you're right, Tim Floyd and his staff have done a marvelous job. Got a new facility coming up next year, and look out for the Trojans. I think they're heading in the right direction.
Brandon Roy, incidentally, just added his 32nd straight free throw. He is the whole package, isn't he?
He is the whole package, and you forget about his outstanding defense. He's long, he's active, he keeps his man in a perfect spot in front of him. There's the double again.
And that's on Knežević, taking it hard to the basket, but coming up short.
One thing I like about Knežević, he's not afraid to take it in traffic or look for the big shot in a big game. He does not play conservatively.
Pretty good matchup between Brockman and Poe. Here's Poe to the 10. Offense.
Leon Poe, and he's got that one giant step all the way to the basket. It looked like Brandon Roy again. And was it Brandon Roy or it was Roy again? Well, who else would it be?
Yes,
who else?
Absolutely. Well, I must say, he is my choice as Conference Player of the Year. I say that before this game even started, and he's not making me change my mind.
Well, I'm not in your camp on that one yet. I think, Poe is certainly, I think you got to wait till the year's over. You really do. And, both of them are deserving. What if UCLA wins the conference? I mean, it speaks well to their balance. I think they've got great balance, but their guard combination of, with a Flower and Farmer, the best guard combination, one of the better guard combinations in the country.
Well, somebody's got to explain to me the criteria, and I'm not quite sure what that is. Roy missed that one, but Brockman didn't. And now a 7-point Husky lead. Bears have been very quiet on the offensive end. And a timeout, 30-second timeout called by Ben Ross. The crowd is involved as well. Now they're going to say that it is a full timeout, so we'll take a timeout as well. 10:29 remaining to be played. Right now, the Huskies are driving the bus. They lead it by 7. Bears very quiet offensively. Huskies lead it by 7. 10 minutes, 29 seconds remaining. And, of course, one of the big reasons This guy right here.
And Brandon Roy, you know, you said he was the total package, and he really is. He's a guy that can score outside and inside, an unbelievable free throw shooter, explosive to the goal, and about 6'6". You know, he's a tremendous defender. He can defend big people, small people, and just does an outstanding job. So Brandon Roy, you look at the numbers compared to Leon Poe and the scoring leaders tonight. You know, Brandon Roy's got a little better of it. Leon Poe's in foul trouble, but you know, there's still almost 11 minutes to go in this game, and Poe could finish strong.
And right now, Roy, and as he has most of the game, is playing head up on the defensive end against Andy Obaka, and he's allowed Obaka exactly one field goal. And quite honestly, that wasn't when Poe was on him. And Obaka throws up another one with Roy in his face, and it won't go either. Cal is only, and there's a shot up and good by Bobby Jones, a big one. Cal has only scored 2 points in the 4 minutes since Richard Midgley went out of the game, having picked up his 4th foul, and now a double-digit lead for the first time. And a 7-0 run for the Huskies.
Well, they can hit you a lot of different ways. I mean, Washington's a prolific three-point shooting team. They're quick and active defensively. They take a few chances, and you know, they can really defend. They're a very hot team in the Pac-10, and there's Iandu Obaka. A little pump fake to free himself up and get that open J.
That breaks that 7-0 run, makes it an 8-point lead. There's Dentman open, and he sticks a 3.
Now the Huskies are in rhythm now. I mean, they're setting screen, Dentman open, Bobby Jones sets a screen, he's wide open. California's going to have to answer.
Robertson does. An open 3, and he knocks it down. Back to an 8-point game. Dentman to Roy in the corner. Roy comes behind a Jones screen. Got a switch. He's got Benson on him now. Just going to stand up and take it. Why not?
Well, either stand up or take it or drop it back down to Bobby Jones, and you recognize the mismatch, and he's guarded by a guy 6'11", and he can give you that killer cross dribble and just freeze you as he did. So an easy score there for Brandon Roy, just taking the game over.
Roy was 17. Almost a lazy pass there. Knežević penetrate lead for Benson. Hammer from Smith, no call. Good clean block by Smith. Here's Roy again. Knežević reaches in on him, but again a no call. Dentman now, he's got Benson on him.
I think Roy wants the ball again. They're telling him, bring it back to me, and he gets it again. I think he's just going to turn here and shoot it. Well, he finds the open guy.
And that is Joel Smith. And he goes in and out. And a push against Bobby Jones. Now, Ben Braun can't wait any longer. He's got to get Midgley back in the game. Roy with that jumper over Benson, and then the other end, Benson has it swatted away from behind. Dogs lead it. Huskies lead it by 10. Barry Tompkins, Dan Belwamity alongside, 7:50 remaining in the ball game, and now it's time for our Pontiac Pac-10 game-changing performance. And what changed the game clearly was the perimeter shooting of the Washington Huskies.
Yeah, their perimeter shooting. They have made 8 3-point goals. Bobby Jones has stepped behind the line, made a couple. Dentman has made 2. Appleby 2. So yeah, you're right. You're talking about a Pontiac game-changing performance. It's been the perimeter play of the Huskies. They've done a nice job.
And for being selected as the Pontiac Pac-10 game-changing performance, Pontiac will donate $1,000 to the General Scholarship Fund of the University of Washington. Richard Midgley back in the California lineup as Ben Braun just can't wait any longer. Bears have been offensively dead in the water since Midgley went out with the 4th foul. Almost a steal by Jones, and Poe can't quite get it, but he will go to the free throw line.
Did a good job that time to avoid as he took it in. Kind of moved himself to the right. Did a great job to draw the foul.
So Leon Poe will go to the free throw line for only the 3rd time tonight. Now, he's a guy who is there, generally speaking, 12, 13, 14 times a game.
That's right. He's been a player that's, you know, the great ones find a way to get to the foul line. And Of course, Ben Braun, when you're behind, you're trying to now accelerate the game a little bit. When they're ahead, they can control the tempo and get it down to Poe every time. And usually a pretty good free thrower. You see him with the 10 and 8 now, and gets out and down. Now California, they've got to get some stops here. They're going to get back in the game. I mean, Washington's been raining threes on them. They got to find a way to control them and defend them and get it off the glass.
Have not seen very much of Jamal Williams in the second half. He is on the floor right now for Lorenzo Romar. He went out early with his 3 fouls. Here he is right here. Brandon Roy, they clear out a little bit for him. He's just posting Omar Wilkes up. Now kick out Smith, good shooter. Won't go. And a grab from behind on Bobby Jones. And now it will be a shooting situation. 3rd foul on Bobby Jones. Lorenzo Romar, you know, a guy who has served his time. Of course, he played here at the University of Washington. Coached at UCLA under Jim Herrick with the national championship team, which won up here in Seattle, as a matter of fact. Then went to St. Louis, did a great job with the Billikens there, and has come here and really put this Washington program back on the map.
And one of the real good guys in the game. I mean, always available whenever you need him. I mean, he's always very courteous. Anything you guys need, he'll sit down with you at any time. So, and you know, you almost root for a guy like that to succeed. Of course, now he's reached, you know, he's reached heights. #1 seed last year with the Huskies. They won the Pac-10 tournament. He's really turned this place around.
No, there's no question about it. And as you said, one of the good guys. And, players love him too. So the Bears get this down to a 6-point game. Close as they've been in a while. Appleby going to back it out. Leon Poe chasing it.
And look at Dribble trying to front Brockman inside. They got a little bit of a mismatch inside if they can find the right guy. Look at Dribble. Good job to front Brockman and not allow him to get the ball.
So Brandon Roy just takes it and knocks it in.
See, that's the advantage of having a great player. Everything else broke down. But you know what they did right? They got the ball to Roy.
They sure did.
And they said, you know, would you please make something good happen? And he did.
He's got 19 in the ball game and has just played magnificently. This is Ibaka trying to do some business on Roy and going to get a grab from behind on Brockman, which will put Poe at the free throw line.
Yeah, shot clock is winding down, and quite frankly, I thought California defended Washington well in that sequence. The problem is Roy is so talented, they can clear out a side, and you could just make a tough shot fading away. And that's why if you're a real good recruiter, Barry, it will go a long way to make you a little bit better coach and to win some games that maybe sometimes you shouldn't win. But you know, that's all part of coaching and recruiting. And Lorenzo Romar's got the whole package.
Well, it's interesting. Brandon Roy is a guy who is going to come out after high school. He declared for the draft and you know, decided that maybe on the advice of some people who knew some things that he was not quite ready for that. He came here to school, became a very good student. And now he's going to play 4 years. And in talking to Lorenzo Romar, he feels that he is going to get drafted in the NBA draft a lot higher than anybody expected he might.
Well, and Brandon Roy he's got an older brother who played at Garfield. He's got a younger sister who's an aspiring actor. And Brandon said, if I sign a big contract, I'm going to pay for her education and see what I can do. And hopefully she'll be very successful. So yeah, he's quite a guy.
He's a quality guy. Yep. And not to mention a quality basketball player. But now he takes a standing J3 and makes it. 22 for Brandon Roy. None prettier than that one.
I don't know why you would, you know, that's a situation when Roy has the ball. You know, you've got to say, Brandon, I'm going to guard you a little bit. You cannot back off of Brandon Roy. I don't think he could believe he was wide open that time. And Harden that time just backs off. Well, if you're going to give it to me, he says, I'm going to go ahead and shoot it. And of course, Roy's not going to miss that one.
Well, here's what his coach had to say about him. Listen to Lorenzo Romar.
I think he is. I think Leon Poe's a great player. If anything, they would be co. But I don't see how you can't leave him out with all the work that he's done in so many different areas. He doesn't just score. He scores, he rebounds, he passes, he defends. He's has a calming effect on our team. He's been carrying us. He's playing great basketball, and he's having a great year.
He's been carrying him tonight, too. I'm telling you, I got my ballot.
I know you do.
My ballot is here.
I know you do.
I've already got the name, R-O-Y.
Well, and the big thing is he has a calming effect on his team. Like, don't get rattled, guys. Just relax. You know, give me the ball in the right spot. I'll make everybody else a little bit better with my movement. You see the numbers on Roy. And that's a big influence he has for his team. I'm not saying he's not going to get it, Barry, but I just think you got to wait. You got to wait till the year's over.
Here's Midgley, penetrate, kick out. Omar Wilkes for three. It's not going to get there. And Appleby controls it off the hands of Brockman. And the Bears cannot afford any empty possessions. And as you pointed out earlier, they got to get stops. 5 minutes left, 10-point ball game.
Well, you know they're going to try to see if Williams goes one-on-one, which that's a pretty good shot for him. He can do that. So the seniors tonight coming up big, and of course Brandon Roy and Bobby Jones made some outside shots. I thought Jamal Williams played well. Got off to a tough start, but he played well. Jensen's made some shots. So a great effort by the leaders for the Huskies.
And Brockman too. Here's Midgley for three, and he gets it. Brockman's been a real factor. He's put a body on Poe when he's played him. He's one of those guys who always has hands on the ball. Disruptive kind of player. And he's going to be here for 4 years.
Well, and Brockman, a high percentage shooter. I remember Jamal Williams. And Jamal's got that nice little spinner turnaround and got a beautiful rotation on the ball. And they just isolated him at the top of the key. And, you know, there's a UCLA playing great at the end of the years. California's done a nice job, but you know, arguably the hottest team in the league right now, the Huskies.
And who was on that AAU team of Jamal Williams?
Oh, the Jamal Williams great AAU team, Barry. No, it wasn't an AAU team. You go back. It was a junior high school team. Now here's the junior high school team. Jamal Williams said, "Yeah, we were pretty good, like in the 7th grade. We had Tyson Chandler, we had Jamal Sampson, Josh Childress, Cedric Bozeman, and me." And he said, good. You know what? We didn't lose any games. No, you know, we won every game we played.
What a surprise.
What a shock. It's got to be one of the great junior high teams of all time.
Well, I told you.
Although I think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's junior high team was great because it had Kareem.
It was him and whoever else.
That's
what they used to say about John McEnroe, that the greatest doubles team in tennis is John McEnroe and anybody. Here's Roy to the basket again. And he is just absolutely putting the finishing touches on a sensational performance. You don't have your ballot out yet.
No, and you know what you like about that timeout? I mean, California, you know they're trying to key defensively on Roy, but the Huskies do a great job to open him up and just let him operate.
Here's Poe. I'm still not crossing Roy's name off.
Well, what if Poe gets, in the final weekend, gets 100 points?
Okay, I'll cross his name.
Not that that's going to happen, but see, you never know.
If the truth be told, I don't have a vote.
That's true. Neither one of us do. Now, why don't we?
I don't
think we should. Well, there's nothing wrong now with running some clock and dictating tempo. The shot clock winding down. But now that is a bomb. Now that went in. You got to throw your hands up if you're Ben Braun and say, let's start the bus.
Yeah,
you know, we're out of here. We're out of here.
Waving the white flag.
Can't take too much time because California. Yeah, you're down 9. You need some quality shots. And well, how about this? Let's just step outside and let it go. And Theo Robertson has a good look. Made the big 3 to end the first half. Has another one. And don't look, now it's a 2-possession game. It's a 6-point
game. Exactly. And now Lorenzo Romar is going to try to stop the bleeding here. So you start to write the Bears off. They're on a 7-2 run now. They've cut a 12-point lead down to a 6-point lead.
Well, here's the Brandon Roy score when they get him at the high post, and what they do is they just clear out a side, and then Theo Robertson, and he's really had an outstanding year for California at De La Salle High School in the Bay Area. Just did a nice job to free himself up and get a big long-range three, and he's a good defender. So you look up, and all of a sudden California, I mean, it's a 6-point game.
He's got 11 points in the game, Robertson. 3 of 3 beyond the arc. Bears now 8 of 19 from three-point range, and the Huskies 9 of 19. But they missed their first 4, remember. So since that time, they've really been on fire. But all of a sudden, California's starting to get good looks and converting them. So the clock is not really a big factor quite yet. 2:37 remaining.
I would bet at this timeout that young man there, his number has been called.
Yes.
You know, and I think Lorenzo Romar, if Boyd doesn't touch it, I think Lorenzo Romar may come unglued on this possession. Still got plenty of time. You know, they're going to try to isolate. So big defensive job by Theo Robertson of California. Try to deny Roy the ball, keep it out of his hands.
Well, they didn't do that. So now let's see what he does with it. 12 on the shot clock. Now they got to switch. Harden comes out on Roy.
And if you're Harden, you stay with him. Well, he backed off again. Can't do that.
Truly remarkable.
Can't do it. How do you like Brandon Roy? Big players come out big in huge games, and boy, he has just been uncanny in this one.
Midgley kicking out for Robertson. Robertson coming across the paint, and that's going to be offense.
It's a veteran team. I mean, the Huskies do all the little things. How many charges have the Huskies taken in this one?
Brandon Roy has been the story. 27 points. Every time they must have a basket, guess what? He gets it. Inside of 2 minutes remaining, 1:57 left, and the Huskies lead this one now by 9. So what does it all mean in the great scheme of things? UCLA has already run. For the moment, they're in first place. California, let's assume Washington wins this game. So, and I don't want to make that an assumption, but right now it looks that way. Washington will be 11-5. The Bears will be 11-5. Washington goes down, plays the Arizonas next week, and UCLA has to come up and play Stanford and Cal. So no matter what happens here today, it's still a grab bag.
Yeah, it's still a long way to go. A lot of things can happen, and you know, we talked about Brandon Roy in the game that he has had there. He's at 19 in the second half, 7 of 9 from the floor, big threes. Seems like the Huskies, every time they've needed a goal, they've got it. His final home game for Brandon Roy and the remaining seniors. So, you know, what an outstanding. And the other thing, you know, we talked about being at the top of the conference and all kinds of stats. Look what he's done. 6 of 6. He's got rebounds, assists, and how many charges has he taken in this game? That's a stat that doesn't even, you know, appear. But they've done a beautiful job of really doing everything well. And Brandon Roy in a big game is having just a scintillating performance here tonight.
Absolutely. Well, and you said it earlier, you know, big players come up big at big times, and that's certainly been the case for Brandon Roy. Today, he's been doing it his whole career, really. But the last 2 years especially, and he's a guy, and another perfect example of a guy who, had he not stayed here for the full 4 years, honestly, you really don't know if he would have been noticed as the player that he's become.
See if California elects to turn it over. That's the one thing you don't want to do if you're the Huskies. Give the Bears an opportunity.
Now here's Ibaka. We've got to do something with it. Ibaka throws it up, can't get it. And Brockman is doing a pretty nice job of keeping Leon Poe off the boards.
Got to back it out now. You back it out. Back it out. That's it. Bring it all the way. Withhold it. The clock's the ally, and really the Huskies don't need a whole lot more points. That's a good decision by Applebee's. First time he's passed up a wide open three, but it was the right decision.
Now a minute 13, and Huskies doing exactly what they need to do. This is a good Washington team, and it's a Washington team that is playing better now than they have at any time during this season.
Well, and they've got Mike Jensen back, too. I think that's a big factor. They've got a little more rotation in that front line, and they've got a nice rotation in front. There's Mike ready to come in. Don't forget, he had the 6 threes against Stanford. Really lit him up here at 18 points and really electrified the crowd. And don't forget, he's a young man that played great in the Pac-10 tournament a year ago, was injured, now back. And Washington, they're firing on all cylinders at this time of the year.
Yeah, no question about it. And then Brockman has come a long way, too. First-year freshman, true freshman. Brockman's going to come out. I thought he did a heck of a job.
Yeah, he did a great job. And you just love his work ethic. I mean, he's somebody that fights you for position, and he's like a rock inside. He'll go up and rebound the ball. And the other thing he does, he takes great shots. I mean, they're all within a close range, but he shoots a high field goal percentage. Okay, got to be quick if you're the Bears. Just don't have the luxury to use a whole lot of time here.
Devin comes right out on Midgley. Midgley has to take a 2. He gets it. Still a 9-point game with 58 seconds remaining.
Well, remember the game that California won against the Huskies in Berkeley. They had a big lead. The Huskies made a frantic comeback late. Not saying that can happen today, but you know, you play it all the way out. Still a minute to go in this game. If you can get a steal, that's a big if, and convert, you're right back in the game.
This is Cal's last time out. They will not have another one. Hey, Chris Myers is coming back to FSN for the most intriguing and controversial names in sports. We'll talk with him. And this week it's going to be Chris talking with Mavericks owner Mark Cuban. And very open guy, and I'm sure that'll be very entertaining. CMI, the Chris Myers interview tonight at 10:30, only on FSN. For Leon Poe, not a Poe-like performance, but I think a lot of that had to do with Brockman and some of the other guys who were defending. It was mostly Brockman who was putting a body on him. 14 points, 8 rebounds for Leon. That's not a bad game for most people, but by the standards that Leon has set for himself, probably not up to what he would like.
Well, he wasn't in rhythm in this one, and that's because of the Washington defense, and got in foul trouble early.
These two teams have not won California in 46 years, and Washington has not run it in 21 years, so a lot of hunger here, big hunger factor going on.
Yeah, there is a hunger factor for both of these programs to get a Pac-10 championship. And, you know, obviously you play for a higher seed in the NCAA tournament when that happens. So the Pac-10 tournament's going to be very interesting. I mean, it's definitely up for grabs. I think there's like 6 teams that got a shot to go in there and win it.
Another grab from behind. I call that foul on Ibaka. That's going to put Dentman at the free throw line. Dentman is just a freshman. He's had 8 points tonight. And he's a guy we said earlier, he kind of hit the wall at about the 19-20 game mark, somewhere in there. And now he's through it.
There's a lot of pressure on Dentman. Don't forget, they lost Nate Robinson last year, and he was a guy that Will Conroy, Trey Simmons, remember Hakeem Rollins. You know, they lost quite a few good players. They were #1 seed in the NCAA tournament. So Dentman had to come in and assume that spot. And you look at the Huskies, and they've done a great job from the line tonight. They're 13 to 15 from the line. And Dentman has been really sensational from the field and running the team.
I just call Poland an offensive foul. It's been that kind of night. And again, you got to give credit to the Huskies because they're playing great position.
That has to be, Barry. That's got to be at least 5 or 6 charges that player control fouls that the Huskies have taken. And again, you know, Brandon Roy's like the master of that. You take it to the goal, and he's going to find a way to get in your way.
Yeah, he's drawn at least 3 or 4 of those. Now Harden reaches in. That'll be his 4th foul. Bobby Jones will go to the line with 43 ticks remaining.
Yeah, Ben Braun is not happy at all. He's got to be careful that he does not get a technical. Ben, not the kind of guy that normally gets teased, but he is certainly giving the officials a little bit of a what for. And the other thing that's got to happen right now, I think the officials better call the game even tighter than normal, because, you know, frustration sometimes sets in when, you know, the game is decided one way or the other, and you got to be careful in this situation.
Zane Powell is going to be the ball game now. Playing in his last game here. I beg your pardon, it was Burmeister in the ball game. Brandon Burmeister.
Well, if Washington's going to keep this thing going, Barry, they've got, you know, the Wildcats of Arizona on the road and Arizona State. And, you know, you can't overlook Arizona State when you go down there. You can't do that. You've got to be focused. And Washington still has, you know, 2 tough games remaining.
Try to double up and trap, and the foul is going to be called, and they get Ibaka here.
I think they're going to get a quick timeout. And I think basically it's going to be a substitution timeout.
Well, here is Potter. That's the guy we talked about. Zane Potter is playing his last game here. Here are the seniors, 5 of them. Mike Jensen, Bobby Jones, Brandon Roy, Jamal Williams, now the last to get into the ball game.
Well deserved. Brandon Roy can't come up any bigger than he did tonight.
No, absolutely. 27 points for Brandon Roy at 5 rebounds. Drew, I don't know how many fouls.
Well, I think he drew at least 3 or 4 charges. Did a great job to get in the way and negate California scores.
And he guarded for the most part Indy Ibaka, who came in here with a streak of 14 straight double-digit scoring games. He had 6 tonight on 2 of 9, and at least one of those I know was when Denton was guarding.
Now, Washington outplayed California here tonight.
No question.
They deserve to win the game. But I got to tell you, there's still a long way to go. UCLA now with the undisputed lead in the Pac-10 Conference. But guess where UCLA goes next? What's their next game? At California.
They got to come up to the Bay Area, play Stanford, and play Cal, and that's another tough go for them. So conference race is even more jumbled now than it was 2 hours ago when we first started talking about it. That's a wrap for us. For my partner, Dan Belwamini, I'm Barry Tompkins. So long, everybody.